We're doing something a little special today. I was recently challenged by Lionsgate to create a decade look inspired by the upcoming film The Age of Adeline starring Blake Lively. In the movie, Adeline gets into an accident and it leaves her with the ability to stop aging, and the film then follows her from her life in the 1920s all the way through present day. So if you haven't seen the trailer, check out the link in the description box, and in this video, I'm actually going to be creating a 20s inspired makeup look. So first I'm starting off by applying a foundation that is going to give me sort of a velvety satin finish. It's not too matte and it's definitely not dewy. Alright, moving on to the concealer. First, I'm going to use a concealer that has kind of a nice peachy undertone just so it covers that darkness under my eyes. And then I'm going in with a lighter concealer just to give it that nice brightness. And then I'm using a small dense brush just to start blending this all out. And so once I get to that area that's directly under my lash line, I'm just going to go in with my finger and start blending it out. Just that skin to skin warmth really creates a natural blend and sort of diffuses the makeup so it doesn't look like there's a ton of makeup right under your lash line. I just don't like it to look that obvious that I've got concealer on, so sometimes I use my finger. And now I'm going in with a fan brush and just applying a nice translucent powder. I'm using a fan brush just because I don't want to get too much powder on, so this allows me to apply conservatively. And now one thing you didn't really see a lot of in the 1920s was contouring. You didn't really see an intense contour highlight routine back then, but I do want to warm up my face just a little bit. So I'm taking a lighter than usual bronzer and just just kind of in general areas warming up my complexion. I'm not contouring at all. But one thing you did see a lot of in the 1920s was blush. The ladies loved the blush in the 20s, or what they used to call rouge. So I'm going to apply my blush a little bit more heavily than normal, but still not quite that crazy because I do want this to end up being a wearable look. And check out this gnarly spider bite on my hand. Ouch. Alright, I'm just going to finish up this blush, and so far I'm loving how this is turning out. Alright, moving on to the eyes. Of course, I've got one eye done, and I'm going to show you how to do it on the other eye. So first, I am taking a pale matte sort of vanilla shade and applying this mostly at my brow bone and then sort of blending it down into my crease. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's just going to make all the rest of the shadows that much easier to blend. Next up, I'm going into my transition color. This is a light medium matte brown shade, and I'm going to apply this as usual into my crease, but I'm really focusing at the very outer part of my crease as well as the very inner corner of my crease. This was very typical in the 1920s. You saw a lot of that darkness at the inner and outer corner of the lids, as well as the bottom lash line. So I'm going to apply this transition color to my bottom lash line as well, just to prep it for the darker colors that are going to layer on top of them. And now I'm going in with an even darker brown. See, I'm just gradually darkening up the shades. And with a smaller blending brush, I'm going to concentrate this color, again, at the very outer part of my crease, as well as the very inner part. So I'm just covering a little bit less area with this. And of course, the lighter color that I laid down before this is just going to make it a lot easier to blend. And so I'm going back to that larger blending brush and, of course, blend, blend, blend. Alright, now I do want to add a couple more colors to this look, so I'm going to take a metallic plum and a metallic copper, and starting with that plum shade, I'm going to start, again, in a smaller area, start applying this along the border of that darker brown that I laid down on my lid. So again, this is going to go on the outer part of my lid as well as the inner corner as well, sort of just closing in on the center of my lid. Just gonna hit that inner corner as well. And just give it a look and make sure it's turning out okay. And then I'm gonna move on to the copper shade with the same brush, and I'm doing the exact same thing, but again, closing in a little bit closer to the center of my lid. I just love this combination of the plum and the copper together. And you guys know I love a good highlight right at the center of the lid. So I'm gonna take a pale shimmery shade and just with my finger, start dabbing that at the very center of my lid and just start blending it out. And now that I've got the look almost done, I do want to deepen the eyeshadow a little bit. So I'm gonna take that dark brown again and just reinforce the very outer corner and the very inner corner of my lids, just again to give it that much more dimension. And of course I want to add a little bit of drama to the bottom lash line as well, so I'm taking a flat brush and applying that plum shade just at the very outer corner as well as the very inner corner. So I'm just sort of back and forth working that into my lash line. And then I do want to define the lash line a little bit more, so I'm taking an even smaller flat brush and I'm dipping into a brown and black shadow, just mixing the two and just going in a little bit closer to my lash line. And for a look like this, I don't want to go liner heavy. I kind of want to keep it sort of liner free. So instead, I'm just going to take a black eyeliner pencil and work that into the inner rim of my top lash line just to give it a little bit of definition. And then I can move right into the false lashes. This is a pair that's nice and fanned out and wispy and long, but it's still really full. It pretty much has everything. Alright, just some finishing touches for the eyes. I'm going to apply mascara to my bottom lash line and just very lightly fill in my brows. And then I'm going to move on to the fun part, which is the lips. I wanted to stay away from a really vampy look, so I avoided a really dark lip and instead I went with another color that was really popular in the 20s, which is a nice bright cherry red lip. And I'm using a matte color just so it's just that much more dramatic, and of course, you know me, too lazy for lip liner. And that completes my 1920s inspired makeup look. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And of course, don't forget to check out The Age of Adeline out in theaters on April 24th. And now I am going to tag the gorgeous Ciao Bella to create a 1930s inspired makeup look. And of course, I'll link her channel down below in the description box. I'll see you guys very soon.